my message is, let's unleash American energy. Let's make sure we're producing what we need to produce in Keystone, bring it in from Canada. You do ANWR, you do all these places. That will make a huge, huge difference for people. And I just hate to see people that are, they're working hard and they commute to work, and now they're just getting killed with the gas prices and everything else. I mean, you could have, if your income increases 6-7% over the year, but inflation is 9 or 10%, you've actually lost ground. You would have been better off only increasing 4% if inflation was normal when it used to be 1 or 2%. So this is a really big deal. It's a really big problem. We're positioned well in Florida because I saw this coming, and I wanted to make sure that we were making smart decisions. We're still doing a lot to invest in our state, but we're doing it in ways that are sustainable, and that if we end up seeing more problems, that we're going to be able to handle it. But I really think it's unfortunate. I also think it's unfortunate what they're planning to do at the southern border. We've had 2 million people come in illegally across the southern border since January 2021. And I sent people down because Texas asked us to send. So last summer, we sent people down there to help with the border and visited. And being across are from all over the world. I saw Libyan, I saw people from the Middle South America, you name it, people are coming across the southern border. And so that was a choice to revoke previous policies and basically say, if you come illegally, then you're going to be able to go. And what's happening is an increase in human trafficking, sex trafficking, and drug trafficking coming into our country. The leading cause of death for people 18 to 45 in this country right now is fentanyl overdose. Where do you think the fentanyl is coming from? China's making it, and it ends up coming across the southern border. You look at methamphetamines. They used to make this in the United States a lot. You'd see these different, but now most of it's coming across the southern border. And that has a huge, particularly on a lot of our rural communities in Florida. So it's a huge problem, and this has been a major failure, but they're getting ready to compound this in May when they revoke what's called Title 42, which is going to mean even more people are coming illegally, and they're not going to be sending people back at the border. And so I didn't know, you'd think 2 million people in a year. It could be much more than that. And I can tell you, in Florida, we're going to do all we can to protect people from this. We do not facilitate anything Biden is doing. He tries to move people in. If he dumps in Florida, I have money to reroute to Delaware now, and we're going to do that. But it's really, really problematic. And so I think that I just don't know. It's like the fentanyl, they don't talk about it as much in the media as other things, and so people act like it's, but it's happening, and we see it, and there's been more fentanyl that's come in the last year. It could kill, there's enough, it's so small that you need to be fatal. What's come across the border could kill like 100 million people. I mean, it's unbelievable. And they're putting it in more and more different things now. So, there's people that will use some drugs that people didn't think would have this in the past, and now they're having fentanyl in there. So it's really, really dangerous for our youth as well. So we're going to push back against it. We are suing Biden right now on catch and release. They're going to file another lawsuit, and Florida is going to be a part of it. It's going to be led by another state, pushing back on what they're doing with Title 42. So we're working on all those fronts, and it's very, very important that we do that. But it's just unfortunate that we're in this situation. And honestly, to have that be the leading cause of death for 18, even the CDC is acknowledging it's the leading cause of death for 18 to 45 in the last year and a half. That's a major, major failure on behalf of the federal government. And so we need to do better. And in Florida, we are going to make sure that we do better. So and then another thing that we're really proud of in Florida is making sure that we're empowering parents and standing up for the rights of parents. It's very important. The idea, I have a 5-year-old daughter, the idea that she should be in school having things like sexuality in the curriculum is inappropriate. It is wrong. And we're not going to allow that to happen in the state of Florida. And we were right to sign the bill to protect the parents' rights. And it's not just about the curriculum. You know, we had the bill we signed gives parents the right to be notified and to have control over different types of services that are provided, like health services to students in these schools. We had a mother from Leon County, and her daughter was going to school, and some people in the school had decided that the daughter was really a boy and not a girl. So they changed the girl's name to a boy's name, had her dress like a boy, and doing all this stuff without telling the mother or getting consent from the mother. First of all, they shouldn't be doing that at all. But to do these things behind the parent's back and to say that the parent should be shut out, that is wrong. And so we're going to make sure that in Florida, parents have the fundamental role in the education and well-being and socialization of their kids. Schools are very important, but they do not supersede the rights of parents. And so I can tell you, and it's not just that. You know, we also did a bill a couple weeks ago on curriculum transparency. So as a parent, you have the right to know the curriculum that's being used in your kid's school. And it's kind of a complement to the parents' rights in education. Also with the library books. You know, they'll have these library books in like middle schools, you know, that'll have things like pedophilia and really grotesque and obscene things. And, you know, that's just not appropriate. And so this way, parents have the right to know what's there. And if this diverts from state standards, they can raise an objection and we can get the good curriculum in the schools. We need to be focusing on teaching kids to read and to write and math and science and understanding American history and having civics so that they understand the Constitution and they understand that our rights come from God, not from government. All these things. You know, all these things are very, very important. And when you divert from that to try to impose an agenda on very young kids, you know, that doesn't have a place in the state of Florida. And so we're going to make sure that we have, you know, good, solid curriculum and education. And you know, it's sad that, like, as a parent, like, I have to worry about, like, my 5-year-old, like, can I even let her watch certain cartoons now because you're so concerned about that? That's not right. That's not the way this should be. We should be looking out for our kids first and foremost. And I'm telling you, in Florida, you know, we've been proud to do that. They locked kids out of school for a year in most of this country. We had them in school. We made sure that they could go. We said you shouldn't have to wear a mask for 8 hours a day like they make you in New York City. If you're 3 years old, they make the toddlers wear masks. You know, they're talking about now they're trying to do billboards saying people come to Florida, you know, you can say, no, they will muzzle you through force of government. And so we don't do that in Florida. So we're happy to be able to stand up for our kids. But the good, solid education, particularly understanding, you know, what America's all about. I mean, every kid should know about people like this county's named after, Alexander Hamilton. Understand fighting the American Revolution, what he did with Washington, what he did to help get the Constitution ratified, Secretary Treasury. One of the smartest guys in the history of this country, and probably the smartest of all the founding fathers. I mean, to be honest, a lot of them were very good, but this guy was brilliant. And there's so many other great stories and great things that people need to know. So we're going to make sure that we're staying on the side of parents and we're staying on the side of students. And I know, you know, we've had a lot of, you know, a lot of the school districts have been very supportive of parents' rights, actually, because they want the parents to vote. I mean, think about it. If you're a teacher and the parent is involved, the chance that the kid's going to do well goes up exponentially. If a parent's not involved and a parent's shut out, the chance that the student's going to perform poorly, chances of that increase as a result. And so I think it's in everybody's interest to do it. So we're not going to and then today here, we're really excited. You know, I always look for different ways to make and And the good thing is when you're talking about some of our rural communities, you can really make a big impact with some of these projects. So we have some parts of our, we have counties in our state, like Miami-Dade is almost 3 million people. That's bigger than other states in the United States, many other states, really. And they have a lot of needs, but, I bring something. It's kind of like sometimes throwing a pebble in a pond. It's like, okay, but when you come to some of the rural areas, this makes a huge difference. And what I've seen firsthand, the people in these communities are very appreciative when you show up and you help out. And so look, it's the right thing to do, but it is nice the fact that the community really appreciates what. So we look for ways to be helpful in Hamilton County. And we've got really two different. Major announcement today is the governor in Florida has a job growth grant fund, and we're able to evaluate projects that are proposed by local communities to help with infrastructure improvements and to help with job training. And so today we are awarding over $5.4 million to Hamilton County to improve public infrastructure and support manufacturing and logistics industry right here. So the project will develop an access road and other infrastructure needed to build out a proposed development with a logistics park and travel center for future manufacturing operations. You want to talk about a place that into Florida and then right out to the rest of the country, this is a great place to do this when you're talking about all this. And we're looking at almost 1,000 jobs when this all comes to fruition. But one of the things I think is exciting that we've done in Florida, we want our students and our to be able to do well is to go to a 4-year brick and ivy university is not accurate. You can do so well by getting skills and going into some of these trades and some of these industries. They're making really good money right off the bat. They're paying truck drivers $15,000 signing bonuses right now. You look at people that go into machinery or go into electric and all these different things, they're making huge, huge salaries for 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds. And so the opportunity is great, and you don't have any debt, and you're able to go and really earn a great living. And having manufacturing and industrial base, that's not just something that people will be able to work on now. That's something that can stay on for as other kids get older and graduate, they're able to feed into this. And so we are really big on career education and skills education. Look, our state universities, we're proud of it because we don't let them raise tuition. So they basically, you're paying tuition like tuition was 10 years ago almost. And so you can go at our state universities, if you have bright futures, you probably don't have to go into debt at all if you work a little bit part-time, but very, very little debt at our state universities. Good. You have these kids, they'll go to these universities, not necessarily Florida universities, but around the country, and they go $100,000, $150,000 in debt. The degree is in zombie studies, and they wonder why they end up with a job they could have had out of high school. Well, look, it's a free country. You can make those decisions, but we should just be honest with kids and students and tell them, there's certain pathways. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you if you go $150,000 in debt and you get a master's in engineering from MIT that you're not going to be okay. You're going to be fine. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for you, for sure. But some of this stuff, we've been told kids that if you just have a piece of paper, somehow, the seas will part for you. And that's not the way it works. I think we're looking at what tangibly are you able to bring to an economy. And I can tell you, having this type of education, we've doubled the apprenticeships. We've added 50 apprenticeships in Florida just since I've been governor. We've had a huge increase in workforce training opportunities, and that is an important road. So the more that we're doing infrastructure, having a good economic climate, but then really focusing on the workforce, that's going to give a lot of businesses confidence that, if they come to Florida, not only are they going to have a good environment, no income tax, all that stuff, law and order, which is very important, and we're making sure that we're doing that. Safe communities is important. You know, we did $1,000 bonuses for every sworn law enforcement officer in the state last year, and we did it again this year. So we're happy about that. And we also, you know, I was talking to the sheriff, you know, they've got 8 positions here. Some of the bigger counties, I was down in Polk County, you know, they've got a few dozen vacancies at the sheriff's department for people to do. Well, we just signed a bill on Friday for recruitment and retaining of qualified law enforcement that says if you're new to law enforcement in Florida, maybe a young person who's first going in who lives in Florida, or some of these experienced police officers in other parts of the country that have been treated horribly in Seattle and in New York and in Minneapolis, if you come and you're qualified and you fill a position in Florida, you get a $5,000 signing bonus. And so, you know, this is going to be something where you come to Florida, we're going to support law enforcement, unlike a lot of other parts of the country. We're going to make sure that, you know, we have good laws on the books, hold people accountable. But then to get the $5,000 signing bonus, you know, that's a big deal. No other state has done anything like that. And so, you know, you may have maybe see some new deputies this summer showing up to Hamilton County with 5,000 smackers in their pocket. So we're happy with this, but as I mentioned, you know, law enforcement, first responders, we also gave $1,000 bonuses to every firefighter in Florida, both last year and we'll do it again this year. And so I'm in the process now of going through the state's budget, and we're looking at different line items, and some I'm not going to accept, others I will accept, and we've still got a long way to go, and I haven't approved the budget as a whole. There is a line item for $880,000 in the budget for Hamilton County to construct a new Crossroads Volunteer Fire Department fire station. And while I haven't finished the entire budget, I can say that I have approved the $880,000 for Hamilton County Fire Station. So you guys will get that. All right. Well, I think we have the check here. So the commissioners, you guys want to come? We'll get a picture. Get a picture with over 5 million smackers right here. Come on. All right. Congratulations. All right, we have Representative Brannon that's here. Is going to say a few things, and then we'll hear from Dane Eagle.
Thank you, Governor. I just appreciate. I was with the governor last month in Madison County. I think he's going to Jefferson County when he leaves here. He does not just go to Jacksonville, Miami, and Orlando. He comes to the small counties, and I told him we were outside. It's hard for me to say today because I don't know how many of you have heard it, but there was a little song that came out this weekend called Sweet Florida. Have y'all heard that? It's sort of in the Leonard Skinner tradition, but it says that the governor, and this really describes him the way he really is, he fights for what he believes, and he's red, white, and blue. Do y'all agree with that? And the first time I met him, and I did this last month in Madison, the governor showed me cowboy boots. You got to trust a guy that wears cowboy boots, right? I'm so proud for Hamilton County. That fire station is one of my member projects. It's we have a former legislator, Elizabeth Porter, here, and she knows it's hard to get things through the legislature. You have to go through all these committees. And I tell folks all the time, it's like going 99 yards down the football field, and you get on the goal line, and what are you waiting on? You're waiting on the quarterback, and he just punched it through for y'all. So congratulations. That's a good project. Those things are important to the county. Of course, Hamilton County is the gateway to Florida. I told the governor outside and the sheriff and Randy and some of them know, I was born here in the hospital just a few blocks down the street. My dad was a Florida Highway Patrol trooper. He was in the Highway Patrol Academy. When he graduated, they sent him to Baker County. So I came out of the hospital here in Jasper and went straight to McClenny. But I was born in Hamilton County. So I'm proud for y'all. when folks come down I-75 out of Georgia, the first place they come to is Hamilton County. So this project is going to be beneficial to y'all. We know how important the fire station is. And guess what? We got the greatest governor in the state of Florida. What else could we ask for? Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. I love Hamilton County, and thank you for letting me be here.
Thank you. Yeah, so, this song, they keep bugging me to perform it. I am not going to put you through that torture. If you want to see it, you go to sweetfloridasong.com. They have a music video and everything. But, we appreciate, we're happy to support this. They say it is true, like sometimes members fight for these different projects. But when you have such a huge surplus, then sometimes it's like, they shrink around a lot of money. The House so our budget is less than half of New York State's budget, even though we have 3 million more people. Yeah, we have better services, roads, education, all that stuff. It just shows you they waste a lot of money. They tax people excessively, all that stuff. So we're in good shape. But the legislature goes in, the House does a budget at $105 billion, which again is less than half of New York. And then the Senate does a budget at $108 billion. So then they go into conference to iron out their differences, and somehow they come out at $112 billion. And so we're going to have to pare that back a little bit. But the reason they were able to do that is because we have such strong reserves and strong budget surplus. And so, we're happy. I mean, in some respects, when you have strong, they don't have to make as many, really tough decisions because you can make most people happy. And so we're happy to approve this here. But on the other hand, at the same time, we want to make sure that we're staying with the program, and we're going to continue to be very responsible with these tax dollars. Okay, Dane Eagle, Department of Economic Opportunity.
Thank you all for being here. I want to thank the governor for his commitment to rural communities. I want to talk to you a little bit about the governor's Job Growth Grant Fund. It's one of his top priorities that he fights for. And DEO, Department of Economic Opportunity, where I have the pleasure of working, we help the governor kind of seek out opportunities around the state. And he asked us to drill in. It's very competitive. Last year, he got $74 million. That's where this pot comes from. This year, he got another $50 million because he's so committed to the project. But $5.4 million here in Hamilton County out of $74 million total, it's very competitive. He makes the final decision, and he decided Hamilton County is going to get this money because he knows how important it is to this community. A dollar here is going to go further, and it's going to be more important to each individual than it is in Miami or Tampa or Jacksonville. So thank you, Governor, for your continued commitment to these rural communities and how important they are. Last thing I do want to mention is the economy. Obviously, the governor mentioned inflation and where we're headed. That's a threat to our economy. But thanks to him and his leadership, keeping Florida free, we have more workers today and more jobs today than we did pre-pandemic. That's incredible. 800 new people moving here every single day. And with this grant, you're going to make sure that they don't skip through Hamilton County. Thank you, Governor. Appreciate it.
I want to thank Dane for all his hard work. We've got to be very quick to react sometimes to different needs in the state of Florida. So we recently had, a couple months ago, we had these really severe tornadoes that tore through southwest Florida. And it went through some of our mobile parks where we had a lot of elderly people. Most of them are living on Social Security. And so we had a number of the mobile homes that were totally destroyed. We had others that were destroyed enough to where they couldn't stay in it. You needed major repairs. And so we, the local community, we were working with it. But we declared a state of emergency to apply for aid from the federal government. Biden stiffed us. They stiffed these tornado victims on tornado relief. And so they were getting nothing from Biden. He will spend billions of dollars to help illegals in this country come across the border, but he couldn't muster 1 red cent for our tornado victims in southwest Florida. And so we said, okay, we appealed the decision, did all this stuff, but we said, all right, we're not going to do it. So what we did with Dane and with some other organizations is we said, you know what? There were 300 seniors that were displaced or that were affected. Not all of them had the same needs. Some of them had different. Some needed a new place entirely. Some just needed some ability to get by for a little bit. So we ended up raising, $1.2 million, 1.1? $1.3 million. $1.3 million. And so we went down for the first, and so there's a portal, people could apply down there. So we had 43 people apply initially. So we were able to go down there. All 43 got $10,000 checks. And we've had more that's applied since then. What are we up to right now?
I have to check with Kevin Guthrie, but they're applying, and we're continuing to help them every single day.
So, it's just like, we're not going to just let the White House treat our state like this. We're going to fight back, and if we have to go and do something like we did to be able to open the spigots with charity, then we're going to open the spigots with charity. I had the Republican Party of Florida kick in $100,000 for it because you know what? Why do I need to do that on political stuff if we need to be able to help people? So we put our money where our mouth is, and then other organizations and individuals and businesses put their money where their mouth is. And so, that's really what it's all about is, are you going to step up and do what's right? We should have gotten the relief. These are people, they talk about they have all these different kind of woke criteria for vulnerability, social vulnerability, or all this stuff. And I'm just thinking to myself, these are mostly elderly people, most of them on fixed income. That's vulnerable. But because they're in a state and you don't like the governor and you don't like the fact that they voted against you in 2020, you stiff them on aid. That is just fundamentally wrong. And so I'm just proud that we were able to step up and help those folks. And, that's just what we're going to do. We're not going to take no for an answer. All right. You guys, everyone, man, I like that shirt. That's not one of my shirts. You did that yourself? Where'd you get that? Oh, man. Well, good stuff. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. I'm going to say hi to some folks. So thank you.
That's y'all.
Hang it in the wall. It won't cash, but we'll send you the real one.
Yeah. Listen, we appreciate you guys. Continue to support us here. It's an exciting project. Yeah, so, hey, we've got I'll tell you a brief story. We've got a partner looking to make it more